everyone, and welcome to the Rookie Pastors Podcast, a podcast of casual conversations about real ministry by real pastors. I am joined by some real pastors, not AI generated, not here. No, we got Brian Colley, we got Dustin Slayton, we got Josh Prince, and did I say I'm Kyle Neiman? Because that's who I am. So if I didn't, I'll say it again. One more time for good measure. Hey, I'm Kyle Neiman.
Hey, Kyle.
Glad you could be listening to us or watching us right now. This is a special podcast because this is one of our roundtable weeks where all the hosts are together rather than just three of us. We all get together, and it's a magical time of year. It's a very special time of year. Merry Christmas, guys.
I hear
Merry
this Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
I would love to ask what your family's Christmas traditions are, but I don't care. There's only one Christmas tradition I care about. And it started last year. And that is the Rookie Pastors Hat Exchange.
The second
Last
annual.
year, we had the first annual Rookie Pastors Hat Exchange. So we exchanged names. We each bought a hat based on the interests of the individual. And I said that was fun. This year we spiced it up a little bit and we gave a specific theme to the hats. We had to all buy minor league baseball hats. And so I'm very excited about this. I don't know about you. I spent way too much time looking through these minor league hats and I loved it. I was like, to my friends, my brothers, my dad, I was like sending all these weird, obscure minor league logos and alternate logos. I had so much fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. So are you looking forward to the exchange? Anybody anxious?
I am. In fact, I'm kind of looking forward to next year's exchange, and I want Kyle, and I want us to do minor league again because I've already got your hat picked out.
Okay. What if it's the hat that Brian picked out for me this year?
You'll just get it twice.
No, I have no problem with that. That's great.
Hey, a good hat's worth repeating.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. I had nothing written down as far as order of who was going to open their hat first here. And for our audio listeners, I apologize. This is a very visual exercise.
It's the worst.
We'll do our best to describe what's going on.
It's the worst podcast segment ever.
Tell you what, Josh, I had you, and so I bought your hat. So let's start with you. I'm eager to see what you think about this. So
the packaging gave it slightly away just because it tells me who it came from, which is a minor affiliate of the Texas Rangers.
I factored that in.
All right. This is a hickory hat. You'll see it.
There we go. It is a
llama
holding.
Hey,
It is a llama holding a bat and chewing on a table leg. I had to look this up because it looked like, before I bought it, I'm like, oh, I need to look this up, make sure I'm not buying him a hat where like a llama is smoking a joint or something like that, because it kind of looks like that. But apparently in Hickory, by the name, they're actually the Hickory Crawdads, but one of their alternate hats is the llamas. And they're known there for their furniture making. And so that's why a llama is chewing on a table leg. Anyways, I loved it.
Why not give the llama a table leg to be swinging?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Makes sense.
Whatever.
For some reason, there may be some sort of like local
shopping minor league hats. It doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. You know, there's an old story about Nolan Ryan, and he was so dominant in a game one time that in the ninth inning, the guy came up to bat with a piano leg instead of a bat. So
that's hilarious.
We need to describe the colors on Josh's hat because those are
quite colorful. So we've got a black back, but the white front, the teal. Is that teal? We say teal.
Yeah, it's kind of a teal.
Kind of looks baby blue on the screen.
Turquoise.
But because the llama is covered in such a colorful hat and scarf, I don't know what that is.
Poncho.
It's repeated on every of the
the eyelets on the top of the hat. Yeah.
That's a legit hat, Kyle. That's a good choice.
Yeah, I thought it was stylish.
I wanted the most ridiculous type of minor league hat, not like a conservative. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So I thought, what's a minor league affiliate of the Rangers? And let's start there. So
yeah, for sure. All right. So do we want to carry it? So I got Dustin.
So Josh, who did you have?
I had Dustin.
All right, so I was a little confused when I got the box because it says to Dr. Dustin Slayton, SLAY-TON. So I don't know if that's because I slay a ton or what. And it too kind of gave away the Richmond Flying Squirrels. So
Nice.
really interested to see what we got here.
Yes.
The color's good. I'm already digging that color right there. So
For you listeners, too bad.
It's a black and like a royal blue there.
it's a
Yeah.
it's a Lucero. What do we call it?
Luchador.
Luchador?
Yeah, Lucador Flying Squirrel. That is
Look
legit.
at that.
That
Got
Very,
the
very
mask,
nice. I like
flying
it.
squirrel, and
And it fits perfect.
kind of a Hispanic theme going here.
Fits perfect. I feel like I could tackle the whole world now with this
That is
with this
awesome.
hat on. No,
That's a
I love
good
that.
one.
That's cool.
Start with your youth minister. See how it
That
goes.
is a good. Oh, dude, one of his favorite shows is Nacho Libre. He's all about it. He's got a luchador or whatever, however you say it, mask in his office, so he'll be jealous of this one right here.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
sweet.
I like
did it.
that. Y'all know that y'all are envious of this. So for those of you who are on the podcast, it's kind of it's a black bill and a bright blue. I don't know if that would have a color to it. Bright blue, cobalt blue, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Hat was a blue squirrel covered in a luchador Mexican wrestling outfit with a lime green mask.
Dude, that's awesome.
And a championship belt. So
I
like it. Thank you, Josh.
Very good.
Very
Sheldon,
good choice.
pick that
I
out
will.
for you.
I've
I've
got two. I'm all about wearing dry fit polos because there's the most comfortable thing in the world. And I've got two that are this color that I don't have any hat to wear with. That I always wear white with it. So this hat is going to get a lot of rotation. I promise. So
Good.
I would make fun of you, but I got dressed with neutral colors today just in hopes that I could wear the hat the entire time without it bothering me that it didn't match.
are you saying my hat doesn't match my outfit?
No, you're fine. You look wonderful.
I mean, I'm wearing
blend
camo.
in with
You can't even
anything.
see me.
Yeah, I can't see your outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
All right,
listeners, he's wearing camo. So
All right.
we're being so rude to our audio listeners.
We're gonna have to get with
It's all
an
good.
audio description service, for
Yeah.
our podcast.
Dustin, who'd you
I
have?
had Mr. Brian Colley. So Brian, you're up.
So I did not look to see if I could see where it came from, other than it came from 47. And so Dustin did a good job. So I have no clue what I'm about to open up. So and
It's
it
a
is
hat.
in,
Trolls with an Astros hat. He's like, I don't care. I didn't follow the rules.
if that was the case, yeah.
He's off the podcast.
Oh, okay. This is nice. What team is that though?
Okay, that's the Birmingham Biscuits.
Yeah.
Birmingham
I
biscuits.
picked the Birmingham Biscuits because I was thinking about my man Brian Colley, who whenever he
Nice.
goes to Cracker Barrel, his
There you go.
favorite meal is to get chicken and dumplings with a side of dumplings.
Mm.
And I know
That
that
is-
Brian loves some biscuits and gravy, and so I figured it fit. It was perfect. And it took me a
That's
long
good.
time because there were some really good looking biscuits hats. And
Yeah.
anyway,
I
landed
have to
on
look
that
at the
one.
Birmingham
Oh.
biscuits. That's a good one.
And
Oh,
that is a
nice.
great feeling hat.
Yeah.
That looks like
I will-
like a Brian Colley hat right there.
Yeah,
I will rock
is a
this
Brian
hat
Colley
well.
That's
I
showing
thought
up on the
I thought that
podcast
looked
again.
like you. Fit good.
That's really good. Really good. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Brian, who did you have?
It was either that one or there was a like a Hawaiian print hat that just said biscuits
Yeah.
across the front. But I like the dude on that one.
So I got home. My wife had put this in the garage, and I'm like, oh, what's that? Why does it say the name of this team all around it? So there was the tape is branded the team.
Little did you know, Kyle, that that's not actually what's in there.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. There we go.
No, not really.
So
I wish
Spartan
that
Burgers
was-
is what it says on the outside.
I wish I was so
And
good.
there
at
it
that.
is. The Hub City Spartan Burgers. Look at that.
Nice.
There we
That's
go.
a
Bring
legit
that
hat.
close.
Mm-hmm.
Little burger with a cowboy hat on. We got lime green on the bill, navy blue on the top. There we go. Oh yeah, that's solid.
That's perfect. That'll
I
fit
like
you
that.
good.
I
Never
like that
mind.
a
I
lot.
don't want Kyle next year.
That's it. Well, it's backwards hat.
That
Oh yes,
yes.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fantastic.
it right there. He's put it on backwards, folks, and it says Spartan Burgers in like a Rocket Man looking font.
So
yes. Hub
I
City.
do have a
Spartan Burgers.
question though, because Kyle put his on backwards, and there was no nickname thrown out. When I put mine on backwards last year, I got called Doug Heffernan.
And I'm sorry. Are you still confused about why that happened? Just
So
wondering why
Dustin
he's so
just
confused about it.
He just continued with it by getting me a hat that has biscuits on it.
His favorite meal is chicken and dumplings with a side of dumplings.
That is awesome.
I did go to Cracker Barrel this weekend, and I did not order that.
Okay.
I actually had breakfast there.
Did you get the veggie plate?
No, I got breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I like the veggie plate, but the veggie plate's all fried. Let's be honest.
Very true.
Just get the veggie
Merry
plate
Christmas,
with 4 orders
guys.
of dumplings.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Good.
Merry Christmas.
Very good hat exchange. I dig this. I think we need to keep going with the minor league theme.
Let's just be honest. This part of the podcast is solely for us.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Nobody's gaining anything.
Yeah, no. I mean, maybe people are happy for us, but we have spent, let's see.
If you're still listening,
11 minutes.
send us a message that you still listen. Well, maybe we'll buy you a hat next year.
Yeah.
Josh is making that offer.
That's actually really not a bad idea. We should do a hat drawing, and we surprise them with a hat. You guys willing to pitch in a few bucks? Make this call right now.
We can make some RPP hats.
Look at it. Listen to this. Listen, if you're listening to us, you made it through this to 12 minutes through this episode. You need to comment on this. You have to like the podcast. You can comment wherever you comment, whether YouTube or Spotify or whatever. And all you need to say is, give me a hat. And we'll know that will enter you into the drawing. We'll give it, I don't know, we'll give it a week or so. We'll give it to the end of the year. Give it to the end of the year. Let's do that. And our New Year's podcast, I'm just making this up as I go. I'm just doing it. We'll do a drawing, and we'll announce who our winner is, and we'll send you a hat. So, because you have been such a faithful listener.
And if nobody comments, we're just going to make something up.
Yep. So if nobody comments,
Our moms are getting a hat.
This part out of the podcast. No, this competition happened. So there you go. But yeah, seriously, Merry Christmas, guys. Thankful for y'all. Thankful for the fun we get to have in this podcast. And we're not done with the podcast. We do have a topic to discuss. We're not going to discuss through Christmas itself, but more kind of like how you wrap up the end of the year. And I don't know if you guys experience this or not. I'm sure you do. The attendance at the end of the year is just wild. You could have some weeks where it's like, hey, things are going great. And other weeks it's like, where is everybody? Weather plays into that. So just to kind of start us off, what do you do to avoid discouragement when those kind of things and the momentum just kind of feels real wild and just all over the place? What do you do to avoid discouragement?
So I think that just the reality that it is a reality, like accepting that reality, knowing that reality, honestly, that does help. Obviously, we're become a college church over these last couple of years. And so we know kind of that ebb and flow. So as we're about to go into about 4 weeks, because DBU's break is pretty long. So there's going to be that challenge, and we miss our college students, especially because they take up those first few rows. And so I miss them, especially just because they're visually like right there the entire time. But I think too, so we've talked a lot about calendaring, we have, I don't know a lot about calendaring, but we have talked about calendaring and just an aspect of kind of don't expect to put these big things, these big moments within that calendar time, because it's not going to be as visual before people. So, if you're going to do a big celebratory thing at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, you might have to either pull it, closer to November, or you're going to have to push it closer to February, just to allot for that reality, kind of that wiggle room of time in which people are coming back or going, whatever it might be. And so I think for me, we're going into the next 2 Sundays and I know it's going to be lower. And so I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm just going to be I would rather be pleasantly surprised. Maybe there is a pleasant surprise coming in that way. But I think just accepting that reality, knowing that it's coming, honestly, at least for me and my personality, it keeps me from being discouraged.
That's good.
Yeah, Josh, I'm in the same boat. College town, college church. We lost. Finals were last week, and we lost about 25 to 30% of our weekly congregation. And so that's pretty stark when you walk in, and but you have to prepare yourself and know that. What I do is I take that time to be able to spend time with people I might not normally get to on a Sunday morning.
Right.
People that, they might slip in and you're like, oh, I want to go get them after church. But as soon as you get down, you got this throng. really focus on going and making them feel welcome, talking to them, and using that as a chance to not to miss a moment that you get with them that when the attendance is up, you might not get. So that
I was going to say some similar to that of just anytime that you have an attendance dip, it's just a opportunity to focus in on who's there. You still have such wonderful ministry opportunities. I don't have a throng of people. You described a throng coming up to you after your Sunday sermon. So Brian, that's
well that
impressive.
that's because you are such a good preacher that no one has any questions. They have just been unfilled
So
with
it's
the
an
anointing of
inquisitive
the word
throng.
that
Okay.
you preach. They're like, "Can you explain what you just said? Because it was not clear at all."
Yeah.
When they come to me,
I get that. You know what you should have said, Pastor.
yeah.
What about you, Dustin?
So I think you guys have pretty much nailed everything. I think just preparing yourself to expect that, and even like with Brian and Josh, you kind of had that last Sunday with your college students. Just, hey, church, our college kids are going to be heading out this week, so let's pray for their finals and pray for them to have a safe trip home. That kind of helps prepare your folks. One thing that we do, just practically speaking, that Sunday in between Christmas and New Year's, we go down to one service. That way, because we have two services normally. For us, that does a lot of things. For one, it puts more people into the room at once. And then it also helps us not have to try to gather enough volunteers to cover both services. Just kind of brings us all into the room. So that kind of helps offset that feeling a little bit of a more having an empty room twice on that Sunday. So that's just kind of practically one of the things that we've done. At your church, you could, we also don't have nursery care during our service, so all the kids come in, and so if you got some kids in the nursery, that kind of just that brings them into the service, just kind of helps to fill out the room a little bit. So there's practically speaking, there's some things that you can do. If you have a balcony, close down, just have, hey guys, there's also on the bottom today. Let's just kind of all be together. So there are some things like that you can do to kind of help make the room feel a little more full.
Hey, I'm one of those guys that I can't stand, and I've had to work through this on my own because I've said it a few times, where you're like, "Hey, why don't y'all move forward?" Because nobody's gonna move forward. They don't want to move forward. They're not about that. So maybe my caution on this is, in that discouragement, you might be tempted to do that. Just let them sit where they are. It's not. I mean, come on. I had to get over that, so maybe I just want to encourage somebody to get past that.
Yeah, just on that side note, I had the same thing where I was just like, why don't they move when I ask? Instead, I just tried to not in the moment, but to teach it outside of the moment. I would just be like, hey, one of the things I think will help us visually as a church is if we move down. And so I encourage that. And so I try to encourage that, at our business meetings or, some of our other meetings rather than like on the morning, because it is discouraging to say that. And then people just look at you like you must be talking to someone else.
This is my pew.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I was
I
here
think it's
before
I
you.
think
I'll be
it's
here long
important.
after.
I also think it's important to remember in today's age of streaming to remind your people as they're traveling that they have an option to still watch the service, and
Sure.
that just helps keep them connected so they don't show back up and they're like, we missed all that.
Yeah, and encourage them to then, when they're there, let us know you were there. Send a comment, say, "Hey, I'm listening," something like that. That can be a visually encouraging thing for a pastor as well
Yeah.
to see that. So, the end of the year does offer us an opportunity to kind of reflect on what we have accomplished in the year as a whole. I mean, yeah, it's another day on the calendar turning over. Just everybody kind of does that where they reflect, and so the church can do the same thing. What are some things that you all do to help the congregation kind of recognize and celebrate God's faithfulness over the past year before that calendar year flips over?
I'm not good at this. I'm gonna lay this one out.
I mean, you know, I don't know that I do anything at the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, maybe I do some more. We'll do maybe like a look back, on what has happened the year before. Especially we had like an emphasis. A few years ago we did the 6,000 challenge where we challenged our folks to have 6,000 faith conversations, and so we kind of reported on how that went, into the new year, and kind of use that to move us forward into that year that had just started. So not so much at the end of the year, because honestly, around here, in a lot of ways, because we have so many things Christmas oriented, we're trying to survive through the end of the year, and our people are too, because we just finished up our giant outreach, weekends, 2 weekends in a row, and so our people are just breathing right now, and so in the
Yeah.
next as the year starts, we'll kind of reflect and report back. So like Christmas, Christmas in the Corner. We'll talk about maybe celebrate how many people came out for that. Our Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes, because we're also a gathering site for that. We'll celebrate how many we brought in January. We're going to talk about baptisms and how many baptisms we had the previous year and things like that. So we'll look at some of that in January.
Yeah, and I don't think I really meant it just to be like before December 31st, but just kind of as the year comes to a close, what are your plans to celebrate? And that can bleed into January, but how do we look back and how do we not get that kind of year of accomplishment lost in the shuffle of the new vision for that year? Is kind of more what I was saying. Go for it, Brian.
Yeah, I think one of the weird things about it is kind of like a school district. Our year for us isn't January to December; it's October to September, and the only reason it's that is because of the Southern Baptist ACP, so that we can get an accurate annual profile put in, and so we celebrate those things at that point. So then to turn around a couple months later and be like, oh, we're it's kind of throwing it skews numbers. It's hard to track, so it's a weird thing. I do though, like Dustin was saying, the events that we have, like this coming Saturday or the Saturday before Christmas, if you listen to this after Christmas, we are a food distribution site for a nonprofit in our county, and we do it at Thanksgiving and at Christmas. And at Thanksgiving, I think we served over 375 families, something like that, and we'll do the same thing again. So we will celebrate that this Sunday, because then the last Sunday this year, I'm going to do the typical senior pastor thing and not be at church on that Sunday and have somebody else preach for me. So
Yeah, so we're going to try something new this year. The last Sunday of this year, we're going to have our worship gathering be a prayer gathering, kind of a joint thing. So we'll, still sing, but we also have all of it's a family worship service. So every age is in the room. And so, it'll be kind of trying when we get to the prayer of confession, those little toddlers better step it up. But built into, because we do adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. So
Yeah.
in Thanksgiving, we'll have the opportunity, like I'm going to preach to this aspect of thankful for what God has done, expectantly thankful for what God will do, and just throw out a few things on that. But I think I'm encouraged, because I think taking time to pray in gratitude as a church for however many people might be there is going to be really special and unique for us, something we haven't done before. And then we're going to pray for the year to come and ask for the supplication side of prayer for what God might be doing. That gives us I don't think we'll cover every statistic, and I've seen some churches who they have the capacity to do this, where they're, essentially making kind of like a little catalog of, hey, man, here's some big highlights. I think that's awesome. I wish, if we could pull it off, I would actually be tempted to do it, because it's a mail out that they're giving to their members as a visual reminder wherever they are, and something that people can pick up in the lobby. I think we have to be careful though, because anything like that can give way to arrogance. So even as we're celebrating, I think doing it in a worshipful way is really, really important. And so if it's part of your worship service, if it's part of a prayer time, or it's just a newsletter that goes out to just thank the church for being faithful, and throwing out some of those measurable pieces that are especially being celebrated. I think all that stuff is great. I don't think it has to be necessarily caked into Sunday, but obviously that's your bigger audience. So then it's really just like, as Brian and Dustin are saying, like, when is that most opportune time to really celebrate those things, and let that just be part of it when it is. But yeah, to your point, Kyle, I think it does give us an opportunity to kind of rest and celebrate as a church as we close out the year. And I think that there is something special to that.
Yeah. And I like what you said, Josh. You don't want it to become like some sort of something you're proud about, arrogant about, or something like that. And I've seen those printouts. I'm the same. I wish we could accomplish that, make it look good like that, or even the videos, the end of the year wrap up video. But I think you're right. Like, there's a part in there where you also just want to celebrate. Hey, we did this part well, but we can also use that as, hey, we can do better next year. We can continue moving forward, because you don't want it to become like a Apple iPhone reveal party where you're making every little tweak sound like it's the biggest thing ever, and
Right.
like this was the greatest thing that has ever been created. And so
Samsung had already
that's a
won.
really good, a really good point, that when you celebrate, don't sound prideful about it. I think that's a good reminder.
There certainly has to be a balance there, right? Because you want to celebrate these things because especially in a revitalization context, there's a discouragement and feeling like we're not relevant. We're not doing, what we should. If we're not growing by leaps and bounds, then are we doing what God has called us to? And so to point to these things you're doing is a good thing. And so if it's an encouragement to your people and it's a celebration of what God is doing, then you're doing it for the right reasons. But if it is that kind of look at us, and if you're presenting it in such a way without that humility, yeah, you're kind of missing the point. But Josh, I love that idea of kind of that last Sunday being a prayer Sunday. I literally might steal that idea, and because I love that, and especially the opportunity with ending with supplication. Because I've led our church through a prayer event like that with the ACTS acronym, but the idea of using that moment of supplication, of kind of casting vision while you get that Thanksgiving element, being that look at what God has done and praising him. I think that writes our hearts in helping us transition from celebrating what God has done to look ahead to the next year. I love that. So literally, yeah, I think I'm going to steal that. I guess it's not stealing if we're on a podcast together, right? That's how it works. Okay, good.
As long as you give him credit for it, it's not stealing.
Sure. I mean, I legitimately would, but with that being said, there is a lot of pressure to start strong in January. So for the rookie pastors who are listening to this, or even pastors who've been in this for a long time, who feel that same anxiety, what advice would you give to a rookie pastor who feels that pressure to start strong in January? What would you encourage them with?
Mediocrity is the best.
Start slow and build from there.
Set the bar low.
Diploma starts with a D. I think I'm finishing out, doctorate stuff right now, and I have this rose-colored glasses outlook on 2026. And I was saying something about it the other day, and I just heard the ludicrous things that I was saying, like as if in 2026, all of a sudden, I'm going to have time to do all of these things. And so really, I've tried to pull back, and I've tried to determine, what does the church need? What does the church need from me? And what is something I really want to do? And to focus on those things as a pastor, I think are really important, and so I've identified those things. Like our church, there's just a specific area specifically with our committees that I'd really love to work and figure some things out this year. There's some opportunities that we have with some interns, and so like just figuring out. So all that to say is I think we want to start strong. And so, like anybody, as you go into January, you're going to lose 100 pounds and, gain 50% muscle and all these things. And you just ridiculous what you think you're going to be able to accomplish. So be reasonable and remember that you got 365 days. And so trying to cram it into the first quarter of the year is probably going to be impossible. So I think just giving yourself some grace, allowing yourself to ease into 2026. But then I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of having some ideas of what you'd really like to see accomplished, but take your time. Don't think it has to get done quickly, because I pressure myself into that. Like, I've got this idea, now I need to run with it. Just take your time to get into the year and see what God has for it.
That's good.
Yeah. I would add, I don't think you have to always start with some sort of special New Year study or series. Whenever I was on staff at Green Acres, Pastor David, almost every year, he would have one sermon to start out the year, kind of like a refocus sermon. And he would usually do one sermon a year on financial stewardship. And that was always there in January. And then he would usually jump right back into whatever he was preaching through, whatever book of the Bible he was going through, and just keep on going. He figured that, typically God speaks through his word as you go along through it. But there were some exceptions to that, whenever we did kind of a big, we are a team kind of theme that we started with in January. And he still had those two elements, a New Year's and a stewardship, but then kind of team focused. And so I think either way is fine. I had planned, I was even looking at my calendar the other day and just sort of walking it out. And I had just figured I was just kind of keep going through the Gospels, like is what I'm doing right now. And I remembered that I had put 3 weeks in there as a gap just because of some people being out and stuff like that. And so I kind of had to refresh it there at the end. And so to kind of throw a series in there, so I think either way is fine. Just be intentional about it. stick with the scripture. Don't get so topical that you just start trying to use the Bible and argue for the point that you want to make to your church, as you start the new year. Just stick with the scripture and let it speak.
Yeah, and I want to encourage you that it doesn't have to be a big church-wide thing to be able to start strong. Maybe you've had a rough year and you just need to start strong personally rather than for the church. Get yourself back in your rhythm, and maybe you just need to get, starting strong is meaning you are going to be intentional with a smaller group of people and not this big grand church-wide vision of we're going to conquer all of these things this year. This year, your starting strong might just be, hey, I'm gonna really pour into these couple of guys for the first 2 months and just see first 3 months and see where it goes and see the benefits of that.
Yeah.
And I would caution against gearing so much emphasis on the first Sunday of January, because naturally that's the first Sunday of the new year. You want to jump in there hard. And you're like, yeah, first Sunday of the new year, here we go. Right. And you're still on that attendance drop because people are still on vacation. And so, kind of go ahead and make that conscious choice of, if you are going to really make a new emphasis, a new vision, a new launch or something like that, save that big part for the second Sunday or further of January.
Yeah, or even February. Give it time. Give it time to even announce, like, hey, we're gonna have like a Vision Sunday or something like that. Ramp up to that. Yeah, it doesn't have to be aligned with the beginning of the year because kids are still out of school. People are still kind of getting back into the shuffle of things. That was going to be one of the things I mentioned. And Josh, you hit on one of the things I was thinking too, is just know your capacity. Know your limits. It's okay to want to do something big to start the year and to have a new kind of revitalized energy at the beginning of the year, but also know where your limits are, work with it in them, pursue excellence within those limits. You don't have to be a superhero. One of the things we, talked a lot about when we all kind of started revitalization and the PAVE program through Texas Baptist and stuff like that, was that there are no silver bullets in this. There's nothing is going to magically, take over for your church, and the new year isn't going to do that for you either. So be faithful in ministering to everyone that the Lord places in front of you in this church, and just serve diligently. Don't let the flipping over the calendar get you too overwhelmed or build any anxiety in you. Just trust the calling that God's placed in your heart. You're going to be in pretty good shape if you do that. Well, I do hope you all have a Merry Christmas, a really great start to your year at your churches, guys. Thankful for all of you and thankful for your advice and for letting me steal your ideas, Josh. I mean, that's awesome.
We all steal Josh's ideas. Let's be honest.
We have to if we're going to survive. It's the only way we can do this.
I'm getting a tattoo for Christmas. So
what is he going to say?
I don't know. Whatever Josh says.
Oh,
send you some ideas.
So one of these days,
Josh's face.
Dustin's just going to show up on this podcast looking just like Josh.
I have to lose about 40 pounds.
Once we don't feel like rookie pastors anymore, the podcast will be just Josh's Pastors. The Josh's Pastors podcast. It's just his.
That's actually what I've been working for this whole time. So good. I'm glad y'all are all on board.
Yeah. Well, Josh is telling me right now to wrap this up. So, yes, sir, I will. But thank you all for listening. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I encourage you to follow us if you haven't already at Rookie Pastors Pod. Unless you're on X, which is just Rookie Pastors, do subscribe wherever you listen to this. Leave us a comment. And again, if you want to enter for that hat competition that I just came up with.
Just made up.
Give me a hat. Comment that on this episode. And just, it doesn't mean we're going to give you a hat. It means you're going to be entered in for the competition. We're just doing one hat, guys. Just one. We're pastors.
Yeah.
And but not making church
I'm going to say, you got to comment on like Spotify or Apple or YouTube. Don't find some obscure podcast listening app that you listen to and comment, give me a hat, because we're not going to see it.
Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're limiting to those three. That's all we're looking at. Otherwise, we won't see it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks, guys. And also, thank you, Brian, for the hat. That's a good one.
Well, I noticed as we were recording this that the bill kind of goes with the inside of your collar.
My polo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Y'all didn't
admiring
see
your polo. It's Monopoly.
all these. It's Monopoly icons, Monopoly figures on my
Yeah,
neck.
that's a legit shirt. I was coveting that shirt as we were going along.
Again, for our audio listeners, I'm sorry. I look good today, and you can't tell. I am crushing it. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Yes.
Y'all have a wonderful Merry Christmas. Thank you all for listening. Have a Happy New Year.
Joy to the world.